Hello Connective, welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you don't know how I work, I pull a bunch of different cards from different decks to tell a story and we talk about it. If you like the content, feel free to subscribe. Don't smash anything. And with that being said, let's get into this energy. So this is a general reading for Aquarius. Aquarius, it is your turn. See if we can get some energy to come out. That's unique to Aquarius. Energy cards. Go through these a few times and see if we get any jumpers. I felt like that might be more than one card actually. Okay. Alright, let's just see what's going on here. I'd like to get some more cards from the Energy Oracle. One more pass. Did not see what that was, but I have a guess. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Let's see what else we got. We have, all right. First chakra, Archangel Micra. First chakra, Archangel Michael. That's our base chakra. Wow. Okay. We also have Goddess of the Moon. Put her up there. We have Woman Holding a Coin. And we have Rest and Rejuvenation. I feel like Gemini got this card. And Deceit. It's an interesting one. I thought it was Envy. Envy came out for Libra. And Walking Away. We've seen this card. We haven't seen this card in a while. So, and I guess that's going down here. Okay. Let's see what's happening here. What is going on, Aquarius? I feel like I asked you that your last reading. So we have Archangel Michael. So we have it's basically like what I consider to be our foundation, our base chakra, our stability, our root chakra. Goddess of the Moon. So sometimes it can be, like someone who's very intuitive. It doesn't have to be a woman. Or it can be what's unseen. And then we have Woman Holding a Coin, which Libra did get Man Holding a Coin, but it wasn't like a sinister thing. It's just a person, Rest and Rejuvenation. That was Gemini needing to take a break. Let's see what Aquarius is supposed to do with that. It's almost kind of like meditating, like even sitting for 5 minutes and kind of like centering yourself. Let's see. Ooh. Wow. That looks like choices. It's upside down here. Choices. Feeling blocked, restrained. So not only do we have choices, but we have feeling blocked and restrained. We're going to put that by the Goddess of the Moon. Blocked. Let's see. Let's see. Choices always means choices to me. Let's see. Feeling blocked. There's 2 in there. All right, hold on. See if anything else wants to come out, but that's growing up. Usually that means finishing something, or like seeing, oh my gosh, that was just me being clumsy, seeing something for what it is and then kind of just getting out of it. It doesn't always have to be an ending. Okay, I think plenty are on the table here. It doesn't always have to be an ending, but we do have use your time well, and where's the other one? Manage to be glad, which manage to be glad always means like, you know, you got out of it, or you should be, you know, happy about it, or you should just remember, like it says, create your own happiness regardless of conditions. So kind of like this happened, but be happy anyway, or manage to be glad that you're out of it at least. And then forget who you are, which is deprogramming. So we have choices, we have feeling blocked and restrained, we have programming here, forgetting, and we have use your time well. We're obviously supposed to be doing something. Forget who you are. Yeah. That was bugging me. Okay, we still have walking away and deceit. So there's a good possibility that if this is your reading, Aquarius, that you're still in it. Let's see if there's other signs, like what other signs are involved here. Feeling blocked and restrained could be, you know, still in it. Let's just pull the rest of the cards, figure out what's going on here. So that rest and rejuvenation, that actually seems like healing to me. I mean, it could be rest and rejuvenation. A lot of times the first thing that I thought of when I saw that card was like, if you're in it, you can't really like start the healing process. I mean, you could try, but if you're still running the same cycle and you're trying to heal from it, I don't think it's possible, to be honest with you. You have to get out of it so that you can, if you can't forget who you are either, if you're in it, because somebody's always reminding you of who you are. So I feel like that's after, you know, and that's after, whoops, and yeah, there's still something funny with that middle, those middle two rows there. Let's see, I want to get one more moon card. Let me figure out who else is involved in this besides just Aquarius. Any other signs? Should we just pull one? Yeah, let's figure out what these messages are. Use your time well. Full moon in Aquarius, be real. So it could be another Aquarius. Full moon in Leo, go wild. Very short and sweet. Be proud of yourself. Last quarter moon in Taurus. There might be a Taurus involved. Be proud of yourself. Yeah, I feel like that came out. I want to say Libra. Let's pull a blind spot. Deceit. Trying to get over it. Forgetting the programming. It's like I'm getting little bits and pieces like for each card, but not like the cards coming together. I could just start talking about it. Usually that helps. Again, this doesn't have to be love. This could be anything because there's a lot of people on the table. Doesn't matter if they're male or female, if these two look like men and these two look like women. It could be all women. It could be people who don't identify as man or woman. It could be anything. But definitely lots of people on the table, and especially if you want to count this guy and her walking away. Oh, I already saw it. It just doesn't really tell me anything, and it looks sideways. Aquarius, why does your sigil look sideways? What sigil is this? Looks upside down. All right, this is number 30. What is our blind spot? Short-term thinking. Short-term thinking. That's what it says. Short-term thinking. Oh, yes. Yeah. Ooh. Just going to put these over here for right now. So I don't usually take this as like a woman holding a coin she doesn't have to be holding a coin. She could be holding anything. I usually say she's either giving something or taking something away, like offering something or taking it from you kind of thing. You know, sometimes the same cards can give a different story for somebody. That's why a lot of times I like to show the cards. I wish they were like facing you so you could look and see if there's a different message that you're getting from the cards. So I just can't read upside down. So but from this card, this woman holding the coin, I am sort of getting like a materialistic aspect to this. It doesn't have to be like over materialistic, or it doesn't even have to be materialistic, but the components are here for that. And there seems to be a little bit of conditioning around it, but I don't think that's the only conditioning that's on the table. I don't think it's just like a way to look at money. I think there's other conditioning on the table too. Probably even has something to do with like our base, like how we feel about ourselves, like how like our core belief and like kind of almost like who we are kind of thing. And you know, there is a lesson to be learned here. I mean, growing up is on the table. Like I said, rest and rejuvenation is, to me, almost like healing or looking inside, you know. And anyway, we have forget who you are on the table, which is deprogramming. And a lot of times when we are deprogramming, we are trying to heal. We're trying to heal, right? We might even have been like told something that wasn't true, or we might have even been like living something that wasn't true based on what somebody else said. You know, we had choices, but we also had like feeling blocked and like restrained. So almost like we couldn't be ourselves. We could have, but we couldn't really, right? We would have been like asserting ourselves every single time. We would have got, you know, it just wouldn't have been fun, right? Even if we were proud of ourselves, it wouldn't have been, you know, this is telling us to be real now because we couldn't be before, you know, growing up. Sometimes people are the way they are now and they're just unapologetic, you know, they're just like, I'm sorry, I am who I am, right? If you have to deprogram yourself, even if you haven't really started, or you realize that you haven't started, or you have actually done some deprogramming, be proud of yourself. It's not an easy thing. Well, I was going to say to grow up, but, you know, to like make decisions that are like that, where things are important, to like actually do the work and get it done, even if you don't know exactly what that means, and then somehow manage to do it, you know, manage to be glad as well, you know, and, you know, proud of yourself and glad, right? Even if you've just done a little bit of work and you know that you have more work to do, it's okay. Because you're walking away from things that no longer serve you, right? The deceit that used to be in your relationships, however they used to look, whether these are people or not, right? Part of growing up in those situations is realizing that you did have choices. it's kind of like that terrible baseball game that your friend dragged you to, and you're just mad at them, that terrible baseball game or that terrible concert or whatever that terrible thing is, that terrible dinner, right? But you could have said no. Maybe you did say no, but you weren't able to enforce it, but you know that you could have just like faked sick or something. You could have just lied your way out of it. I'm not suggesting that anybody lie their way out of it, but what I am saying is a lot of times too, you know, the reason why we don't acknowledge our choices is because we don't want to acknowledge that we had a hand in whatever it was we experienced, that we need to be glad that we're not in anymore, kind of thing. We don't want to say, well, we wouldn't have, I didn't bring that. And you know, yeah, well, maybe the person that you were before did that. Because that's a good possibility, you know, if you really want to be real with yourself and you know damn well you've changed to the point where you would have never brought that. Even if you accidentally brought it in your energy field, you would realize, okay, you know what, that's not going to happen again. And you don't even have to really be like a guru about it, like, oh, I'm a healer. It's just to heal from a little bit from that little situation that can actually make you feel better. You should be proud of yourself for that, right? Like I said, forgetting who you are isn't easy. Usually the programming requires like the recording, and the recording, you know, could have been playing for decades for some people. So being able to kind of not only just shut that recording off, but then stop believing it even when it's not playing, that's a huge thing. It's a huge thing, right? So, I'm taking this, like I said, this could be a person that's involved. It's totally possible. It could be an aspect of the situation that's, you know, that's basically not revealing things. I do believe that that's a possibility, that this is part of a, like it's down here with manage to be glad and go wild, because I think that really right now, at least for this part of the story, is more about like who you are coming out of this, or what you need to do to come out of this, because you have other stuff that you need to be doing. And so to not necessarily be focusing on what that is right now. I mean, like I said, other cards might come out in the extended for this that might, you know, give us more about what we're healing from, or what, you know, like words of wisdom to help us kind of like get through the situation, even like what would be considered to be before the healing. But this use your time well card kind of tells me that a lot of times, A, you're supposed to be doing something, and B, you don't have forever, right? And it involves walking away from something, probably the deceit, because we can't, again, if we're in it, then we can't like heal from it. We can't deprogram ourselves from it, you know? And you have to be real with yourself when you're acknowledging that you can't be in it. You do have choices. You can just decide, I'm not going to be in this anymore because I need to heal this. And then you can just do it. If it is something that's materialistic, you know, it's not on the table right now, financial constraints, but it could be messing with your money. So if you have a belief or something, somebody talked you into believing something different about money being abundant, you might want to work on that mindset, you know, work on the idea of abundance with your money. That's a hard thing to deprogram. A lot of people have it too. It's even if it's not messing, if what you think is not messing with your money, but you'd like to always wanted to have more money or couldn't keep it, you might want to take a look at that. It's part of getting better, changing things in your situation, sometimes even not knowing what you're trying to change them to, but just, you know, being able to at least aim towards something, because you know that what you've been getting isn't 100% what you've been wanting or maybe asking for. A lot of times what we focus on is what we get. So even if we don't want the negative thing, if we focus on the negative thing, that's what we're going to get. The universe doesn't like focus on what you want. The universe focuses on what you're focusing on. So if you're looking at things and you're saying, I never want that to happen again, I never want that to happen again, I mean, it's like it's coming, because the universe is like, you're focusing on this, here's some more of this. You got to walk away from that. Even if it's not part of like your negative, like your self-programming or your anything programming, although there probably is some programming that you're not like 100% aware of, even if it's not like for your vision of yourself, how you look at yourself, you know, I mean, if you do look at yourself, you know, be real about it. Don't look at yourself through other people's eyes. Again, sometimes the things that come out of people's mouths aren't 100% true. They're designed to make you feel a certain way so that you can feel a certain way. You don't have to do that if you don't want. And acknowledge too that you don't have to listen to others. You don't. Especially if you're a grown-up, they're talking about you. They haven't actually taken the time to get to know you. Right? First of all, don't accept anybody's opinions whose advice you wouldn't ask anyway. That's the first thing. Because we can get real tied up in like what someone else said, if that was something that we didn't want them to think or whatever, and we could not want them to think that way, and we could feel a certain way about it. But we don't even have to get involved with that if we don't want. Especially if that was the old us who used to just like get involved and worry about stuff, right? I mean, we are walking away from the deceit, but we're also walking away from the short-term thinking, right? If we engage in certain things, even if it's just for the sake of being in that relationship, right? Well, when I'm out of this, I won't act like that. This is just because I'm in this thing. Like, don't, you know, again, that energy, you're bringing it, you're grabbing it, you're holding on to it. You're like, well, I'm making this decision now, but then later. Well, you're making this decision now for later. Remember? I would definitely say that you need to look more at like your stability in the situation. Are you putting yourself into a situation, like, are you putting yourself in a state where when you do get into certain situations with people that it takes you down a way that you don't want to go because you're not thinking about like the end result? I mean, most of the time when people are, they do it in a way that's, well, I was going to say toxic. That's not 100% what I meant. But like in a way that's more negative, like when they get into the situation and they're kind of like, you know, well, all my relationships end like this. This one's going to end like this, you know. And they do that every single time. This is going to end like this. If you just went in and said, you know, this is going to end in a good way. This is going to end like where I'll have stability in my situation, you know, creating from an intentional place, and just kind of like letting it go though, not obsessing over it, because it's not like the more you think about it, the more the universe goes, oh, okay, this is what we're going to get. That's not it either. You have to make it less important. You have to let it go, regardless of what anybody's told you. The best way to create would be to get the notion and then just forget about it. You just go, oh my gosh, I would love an ice cream cone, right? And then you just forget about it. Then later on, somebody comes home from work, they bring you an ice cream cone. Oh, I forgot I wanted this. You know, we talk about like manifesting and like bringing things what they want. We always do talk about like bigger things, like, you know, a child or a house or a car, something that you would consider to have for some length of time. But we don't really talk about like short-term versus long-term manifestation. You know what I mean? We don't talk about looking like into the far future. I mean, most of the time we say to be in the here and now, because then that way you can create for the future better, right? And this is definitely saying that to not look at the past, like not to be in any place that you were in the past when you're trying to do that. First of all, that is short-term thinking, because you're not thinking about what would happen long-term if you kept focusing on the past. But more importantly, it isn't really a real state to be in, especially if you're carrying around stuff that could possibly have come from other people. You had a choice not to. Maybe you did, maybe you didn't. But either way, you know, you brought that with you as you were growing up. maybe even went crazy with it, and you know, now you're like at a point where you're not hearing it anymore, but you need to kind of like let it go and just be proud of yourself. I know it's hard to do when you feel like things went on for a long time or something was like bad, and you know, it probably depends really on what the recording is and how much damage it actually did, you know, deprogramming yourself from whatever that thing was. But realistically too, we can make it as bad as we want to be again. You know, we have to kind of like, again, look at it, and especially if it was like somebody else's programming that they gave to us, just manage to be glad that we're getting rid of it. Just walk away from any emotions that we have, even if they did it to us like on purpose. You know, if we hold on to that, again, that's going to be more short-term thinking, because we have a choice to like let things go and just become more stable in general by the choices that we make, regardless of whether or not they're about money. And we don't even have to work as hard to get the things that we want. Once we figure that out, we'll just feel better, right? And again, the goddess of the moon, which is that unknown card. I mean, it could be intuition. You might be in this situation and you might have some intuition about what's going on, maybe even about what should happen like long term, or even maybe when this time is up, kind of thing. But if not, it could be that component that's not showing you whatever it is that you maybe want to see, or maybe an aspect of it you don't even know exists. I mean, sometimes you can tell, and especially if you're trying to feel something out, you kind of just know something's coming, but you don't know what it is, right? Well, again, any kind of manifestation, you want to be glad. You want to have that appreciation. You just want to automatically, right? You want to just go wild doing it too. It just really helps. You know, just be open to whatever it is, you know, as you're learning to deprogram, just be open to whatever it is that's coming. You know, hopefully maybe in the extended we'll either figure out if there's anything else that we need to walk away from, or like what's coming, or maybe, you know, sometimes what needs to be healed pop up. You know, there will be an extended for this. The link will be in the description, and we'll go a little bit more into this. But this really is about the what goes along with the deprogramming, and the things that maybe aren't so important to focus on, and the things that just really need to happen, like getting away, basically getting away from the deceit, which means ending the situation to begin with. And of course, this card always comes up when there is an ending. Manage to be glad. Just manage to be glad that you got out of it. Sometimes we're upset that we wasted time, or wasted our time with that person, or whatever's going on. But honestly, I mean, it is a learning lesson. It's not here on the table, but it could come up later, and it is. Anytime we're walking away, we're learning something. And if there's deceit involved, again, it's not because somebody's designed to be our best friend, you know. Sometimes we can't see it because we're not thinking long term. What is it going to be like with this person in this many years, kind of thing, you know. Sometimes in order for that to even stand out, we got to forget who we are. We just have to forget that other person, that other people treated a certain way with deceit. Maybe people we should have walked away from, but we didn't. Because we didn't realize that if we didn't walk away, these people were going to be around forever. Right? Again, if they're not around anymore, be proud of yourself for either understanding or just allowing them to leave. It could be that simple. It could be that simple. So Aquarius, it really is time to pull some more cards. If this is your story, meet us over the extended. If not, until we meet again.